It's really irritating to see them go after Mikey. Mikey didn't do anything ever to Van Halen.
Van Halen looked unstoppable on stage, but behind the music, the tension was building for years. And now Alex Van Halen is opening up about Michael Anthony, revealing a side of the story fans were never supposed to see. Picture this, a band sitting right at the top of rock stardom, running the game and shaking arenas everywhere. Their music hit hard, their shows felt unreal, and right in the center stood Van Halen, a name that basically meant winning in the rock world. But behind all that shine, things were not smooth at all. Now Alex Van Halen is finally letting it out, speaking on feelings he kept buried for years about Michael Anthony, the bassist, and all the tension and messy moments tied to his role. Van Halen started off tight, built on real friendship and big dreams. Michael Anthony brought those high, clean backing vocals and steady bass that helped shape their sound. Tracks like Running with the Devil and Panama popped even more because of his harmonies, while his bass locked everything in place for Eddie's wild guitar skills and Alex's heavy pounding drums. He was a key piece, no question about it. But once the fame blew up, so did the issues behind the curtain. Alex Van Halen, known for staying sharp and serious about the craft, kept clashing with Anthony's chill, go-with-the-flow vibe. While Anthony leaned into the lifestyle and enjoyed the spotlight, Alex saw it differently and started getting irritated, feeling like the band's bigger purpose wasn't being taken seriously enough. To Alex, music was deep, almost untouchable, like a mission you don't play with. To Anthony, it came off more like a non-stop celebration. As the 1980s rolled on, the tension got louder and harder to ignore. Alex and Eddie Van Halen. The engine behind the band's sound felt like Anthony wasn't really stepping up when it came to writing songs. The brothers stayed locked in, chasing perfection, tweaking every little sound again and again. Anthony's laid-back style kept crashing into the brothers' all-in, no-compromise mindset, and it sparked real tension in the studio. Picture long nights dragging on, Alex locked in and dialing in every single drum hit, chasing perfection like it was life or death. Meanwhile, Anthony seemed cool, just riding the vibe, not stressing too much. To Alex, that came off as a lack of care, almost like a quiet disrespect to what the band stood for. At first, the frustration stayed low-key, easy to brush off. But as time passed, it got louder and harder to ignore. Then came 1985, when Sammy Hagar stepped in to replace David Lee Roth, and everything shifted again. Hagar and Anthony clicked fast, building a tight friendship that started to look like a united front, especially when things got tense with the Van Halen brothers. For Alex, this only pushed things further apart. Hagar and Anthony were always laughing, joking, and enjoying the ride, while Alex and Eddie stayed locked in on the music, serious and focused. The gap between the two sides became impossible to miss. It turned into a quiet us versus them energy, and Alex felt more and more cut off from Anthony, someone who used to be in his corner. Then came 2006, and everything hit a breaking point. The Van Halen brothers made the bold and controversial call to bring in Eddie's son, Wolfgang Van Halen, replacing Anthony. For Alex, it wasn't just about family. It was about taking back control and steering the band the way he believed it should go. Fans were shocked, and many pushed back hard, calling out the move and defending Anthony, whose backing vocals had become a huge part of the band's identity. But from Alex's point of view, the decision made sense. He felt Anthony hadn't been fully involved creatively and had grown too aligned with Hagar. In his eyes, that made Anthony easier to replace. For Anthony, though, it hit deep, more than just business. It felt personal, like a door slammed shut, wiping out whatever bond was left with the Van Halen brothers. Anthony's challenges didn't stop there either. His friendship with Sammy Hagar gave him support, but it also brought new pressure. Their work together, including projects like Chicken Foot, kept getting compared to Van Halen, and critics started talking, questioning if Anthony was just following Hagar's lead instead of standing on his own. Those takes stuck, and they didn't feel good. They added to this growing idea that Anthony's peak was already behind him. Even though fans still respected his live performances, the talk around his role in songwriting didn't go away. People kept questioning how much he really contributed, and that narrative just kept getting louder. For Anthony, it hit deep, like a constant reminder of how he was treated inside the band. His skills often got pushed to the side, overshadowed by the huge personalities of the Van Halen brothers. Off stage, his life told a different story, one full of pressure, expectations, and real sacrifices. Fame looked exciting on the surface, but behind it, the cost was heavy, and Anthony was the one paying for it in ways people didn't always see, and most of that price showed up at home. The non-stop touring, late nights, and wild rock star lifestyle created serious distance between him and his family. Imagine being stuck between two lives, one where you're a dedicated husband and father who wants peace, and another where you're expected to live fast, stay loud, and never slow down. That pull in both directions wasn't just stressful, it was draining. That pressure started to show more and more. Anthony dealt with real guilt, knowing he was missing important family moments while trying to keep up with everything the band demanded. For him, the spotlight wasn't just about fame or music. It exposed everything, the wins and the struggles at the same time. Meanwhile, the media kept shining the brightest light on Eddie and Alex, building them up as larger-than-life figures, while Anthony got pushed into the background. He was often framed as just the extra piece, not the full story. His easygoing personality, the same thing fans liked about him, got flipped into something negative by critics, who started painting him as too comfortable, too passive. He wasn't labeled a mastermind or a standout force behind the band's success. Instead, he was boxed in as the reliable bassist, the one holding things together quietly, without making noise. And even though that role mattered, it still came with a sense of being overlooked, like he was always there, but never fully seen. Imagine being called the weakest link in a band that changed rock forever. That label stuck to Anthony, even with everything he brought to the table. Critics kept picking apart his role like it was a science experiment, zooming in on what they thought he lacked while ignoring what he actually added. His soaring harmonies, the very thing that helped shape Van Halen's sound, barely got the credit they deserved. It wasn't just about bass lines holding things steady. His voice lifted entire songs, adding that extra layer that made tracks hit differently. But that part of his talent kept getting buried under the flash of Eddie's guitar and the power of Alex's drums. And even after his time with Van Halen ended, that same criticism didn't fade away. It followed him. Moving into his post-Van Halen career, Anthony found success, but the shadow of his past stayed close. Fans and media kept circling back, questioning if his wins were really his, or just leftovers from the Van Halen legacy. It didn't matter what he did, that comparison kept popping up, loud and constant. Even the praise he did get felt mixed. There was always that quiet doubt in the background, like people weren't fully convinced. Behind his easy smile and relaxed vibe, Anthony carried all of it, the pressure, the judgment, the feeling of not getting full credit. He stayed positive on the outside, but being underestimated again and again left a mark that didn't just disappear. Still, his story shows real endurance. He kept moving forward, balancing fame, family, and the need to prove himself in a world that judged fast and appreciated slow. And now, with Alex Van Halen looking back on their time together, what stands out is the contrast, a partnership that created powerful music, but was also filled with tension and personal clashes that never fully settled. Anthony's high harmonies and steady bass weren't just background elements. They were a core part of the Van Halen sound that helped launch the band into massive fame. That foundation mattered, no question. But for Alex, those same contributions were tied to ongoing frustration happening behind the scenes. This wasn't only about music, it went deeper than that. It turned into a bigger struggle between expectations and results, between what Alex believed the band could be and what he felt it sometimes fell short of. Imagine being in a group where perfection wasn't a goal, it was the minimum standard. Every note had to be right, every detail had to hit, and one mistake could throw everything off track. For Alex, working with Anthony became a constant reminder of how much pressure came with staying at the top. Anthony's laid-back energy could calm things down in stressful moments, and that had value. But at the same time, it clashed hard with Alex's non-stop push for precision and control. What started as a shared dream slowly turned into tension, exposing cracks in how they worked together and what they expected from each other. For Michael Anthony, his legacy comes with layers. Fans respect him for his grounded personality and the real impact he had on the music. But his story isn't simple. It's filled with success, mixed with conflict that never fully went away. His harmonies became a defining piece of the band's identity, but behind the curtain, things looked very different. There were disagreements, moments where he felt pushed aside, and times when his role didn't seem as valued as it should have been. That contrast between what fans heard and what he experienced tells a story that's way more complicated than it first appears. Anthony's struggles in Van Halen didn't just stay in the studio, they hit on a personal level too. He had to deal with intense personalities, non-stop pressure, and a band environment driven by huge ambition that never slowed down. His legacy might be celebrated, but there's a real bittersweet side to it. Being a rock star isn't just about success and fame, it comes with a serious emotional cost that people don't always see. His journey shows how thin the line can be between brotherhood and conflict. One minute it's unity, the next it's tension building under the surface. The road to stardom demanded sacrifices, and not all of them were visible to the public. Even as Van Halen's career became legendary, Anthony's story stood out as one of endurance, pushing through setbacks while staying loyal to the music and the fans who supported him. That legacy is full of contrasts, huge highs mixed with real struggles, big wins balanced against personal loss. It's not a simple story. It's layered, complicated, and real in a way that sticks with you. If you made it this far, drop a like and hit subscribe for more stories like this. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Michael Anthony was underrated in Van Halen, or did he get the credit he deserved? See you in the next video.